We are back with another quiz today, and a bunch of people requested an NBA quiz. So huge thank you to Kelton, Alec, Curry fan. I think you guys were the first ones to drop a comment asking for an NBA quiz, but thank you so much to everyone who did comment this suggestion, this request. I'm really excited to get to this one, and I wanted to try something a little different today. So instead of quizzing you on specific athletes, I'll be quizzing you on NBA teams. And I want you to let me know what you think of this format, of this idea in the comments. And if this video reaches 800 likes, I don't know if we can do it. That's a lot of likes. I will make a part 2 where I quiz you on NBA players like I did with the NFL and the UFC. So, if this is your first time on one of my ASMR sports quizzes, here's how it works. Questions are worth up to 3 points. If you answer correctly on the first clue, you get 3 points. If you answer correctly on the second clue, you get 2 points. And if you answer correctly on the third clue, you get 1 point. There will also be a bonus question associated with every team or every sort of question that I ask in the quiz. Those are worth 1 point. And at the end of the quiz, there's one question worth 2 points and one question worth 1 point. And actually, channel members already heard those 2 final questions yesterday, so they got a little hint about this quiz today. There are a possible 30 points up for grabs in this quiz, but because of the format of the quiz, I think let's say 18 points is a really, really strong score. So don't get discouraged if you don't get the full 30. This is meant to be a little bit challenging, especially on the first clues for every question. So don't forget to leave your final score in the comment section. And that's enough rules and regulations for today. Let's finally get into this quiz with the first question. And as always, I'll be tapping. I usually use a different basketball when I tap for my videos, but I found this one with the one I usually use, and it almost it's a lot older, as you can tell by all the fading paint on it. But what I realized is that it's actually quite dry, because it's so old. It's pretty can you see that crack? I don't know how good it would be for actual basketball, but the sounds, the tapping sounds, because it's so dry, it feels like it makes an interesting, less bassy tapping sound. So let me know what you think of the ASMR quality of this basketball. But okay, let's start with the first NBA team question, and we'll walk through it again in case this is your first time in one of my quizzes. You'll get the hang of it really quickly. So, for 3 points, this franchise began in 1947 when Ben Berger and Morris Chaffin purchased the Detroit Gems for $15,000. For 2 points, they won their first NBA championship for their current city in 1972. And for 1 point, in 2017, this team retired 2 different numbers for a single player. And actually, this is the only instance I can think of where that has ever happened, where one team has retired 2 numbers for 1 player. The answer is the LA Lakers. Now, so if you answered at the first clue and you said the Lakers, that's 3 points, then 2, then 1. But for a bonus point, can you tell me which numbers the Lakers retired for Kobe Bryant? So this is that 2-number retirement thing I was talking about. Which numbers were retired by the LA Lakers for Kobe Bryant? The answer is 8 and 24. So you had to have answered both numbers correctly to get the bonus point. So now I think you get the hang of it. Let's get into the second question. For 3 points, this team had the 3rd pick of the 1984 NBA draft. This clue might sound absurd, but I know some of you know exactly what I'm talking about. For 2 points, this franchise became the 3rd NBA franchise in this city after the Stags and the Packers. And I think the Packers later changed their name to the Zephyrs, but it was the same franchise. And for 1 point, this team has won 2 three-peats. This team has won 2 three-peats. The answer is the Chicago Bulls. Now for a bonus point. In which year did the Bulls win their last championship? The answer is 1998. Next question. is the last team that made it all the way to the NBA Finals with a losing record. The last team to make it all the way to the playoff finals on a losing record. For 2 points. With the help of a New York-based design agency, Alfalfa Studio, this team redesigned their logo for the 2003-2004 season. And for 1 point, this franchise became the first NBA team in Texas. The answer is the Houston Rockets. For an extra point, for a bonus point, the Rockets retired Yao Ming's number in 2017. What number was it? Essentially, what was Yao Ming's number for the Rockets? The answer is 11. Next question. For 3 points, this team was named after an old basketball team that played in the American Basketball League in the 1920s. For 2 points. In 1987, their point guard set the NBA playoff record for points scored in a single quarter. So in 1987, one of their players set the NBA record for most points scored in a quarter, and that record still stands today. It was 29 points in the fourth quarter of a game. And for 1 point, this team holds the record for highest win percentage in a regular season of all time. I hope you know this because the bonus question is in relation to that. So the answer is the Golden State Warriors. Now, for the bonus point, the record-breaking regular season win percentage that I mentioned in the 1 point clue. That win percentage is 890. Just incredible to think about. But for the bonus point, can you tell me in which season they set this record? So what season was the Warriors' 890 season, basically? answer is the 2015-2016 season. Next question. For 3 points. This team set losing records in each of its first 5 seasons before winning their first division title. So their first 5 seasons were losing seasons, and then they won their first division title. For 2 points. The team colors were blue, orange, and black before they reverted to their classic colorway in the early 2000s. So for about 2 decades, they used a blue, black, and orange colorway. And for 1 point, they became the first team to come back from a 3-1 deficit to win the championship finals. So they were down 3-1, but they won the finals. The answer is the Cleveland Cavaliers. But for an extra point, can you tell me which year they won the championship? The answer is 2016. Next question. Before changing to its current mascot, this team's mascot was the gorilla. For 2 points. This franchise has been based in 4 countries. 4 cities. I'm glad I heard myself say that one. This franchise has been based in 4 different cities. And for 1 point, this team has the most consecutive losing seasons in NBA history. The answer is the Sacramento Kings. For a bonus point, can you tell me how many consecutive losing seasons the Kings had before breaking that streak? Essentially, what I'm asking is, what is the record for the most consecutive losing seasons? So, with a win percentage below 500 in NBA history. The answer is 16. So from the 2000 6 to the 2022 season. The Kings had losing records. Now, next question for 3 points. Despite the team having retired the number 12 in 2012, another player got permission to wear that number in 2015. For 2 points. This team is tied for the NBA record for most consecutive playoff appearances. And for 1 point, since 2003, this team has gone on extended road trips, extended away game trips, known as the Rodeo Road Trip. The answer is the San Antonio Spurs. Now, for the bonus point, the Rodeo Road Trip happens when Frost Bank Center hosts the San Antonio Stock Show and Rodeo. But during which month of the year does this take place? The answer is February. So when this video comes out, I think it's February 6th, and the Spurs are just about to start their 9-game road trip, and they won't be back home until February 29th, which is how I figured out that this year is a leap year. Next question. For 3 points, this team has the longest sellout streak in the NBA. For 2 points, the team got its name from a 1950s television show. And for 1 point, until the turn of the millennium, this blue and silver team also had green in its color scheme. The answer is the Dallas Mavericks. For a bonus point, how many championships do the Mavs have? The answer is 1 from 2011. Next question, and this is the final traditional 3-pointer question. I hope I did the math right and that this actually adds up to 30 points. This is my constant fear with these videos. For 3 points, this franchise started in a city York State that no longer has an NBA team? For 2 points. It is one of only 2 teams that do not have a retired number. Of course, there is a number that's retired league-wide, so if you were thinking about that, save that for the end. But this is one of 2 teams that does not have a team retired number. And for 1 point, this team is set to move to a new arena this year. The answer is the LA Clippers, the Los Angeles Clippers, moving to Inglewood this year. For a bonus point, I mentioned that the Clippers are one of 2 teams with 0 retired numbers. Can you tell me who the other team is? The answer is the Toronto Raptors. The Raptors. Now, we've got 2 questions left. One of them is worth 2 points, and one of them is worth 1 point. So we're switching up the format a little bit here at the end, give you a chance to rake in those final few points. So for 2 points, first, I sort of hinted at this question a second ago, but I talked a little bit about retired numbers today. It was a bit of a theme in this quiz. One number, though, is retired league-wide. Can you tell me which number that is, and in honor of which player it was retired? So you get 1 point for a correct number and 1 point for a correct player. I'll give you some time to think about it, or to make a wild guess. The answer is number 6, in honor of Bill Russell. So 1 point for number 6, 1 point for Bill Russell. And finally, for 1 point, this is the last question of the quiz. Despite a basketball being orange, only 3 NBA teams use orange in their official brand colors. Can you name those teams? And you have to get all 3 right to get the point. So I'll give you some time to think about it. Lock in your answers. You get 5 seconds. The answer is the Knicks, the Thunder, and the Suns. So if you said the Knicks, the Thunder, and the Suns, all three, you get the final point of the quiz. But guys, that is the end of today's NBA Teams quiz. Thank you so much for hanging out. Don't forget to let me know in the comments which score you got. And if you want to see an NBA Players Quiz edition or a second edition of this one with more teams, give this video a thumbs up. But otherwise, I'll see you in the next video.